to a carrier. However, I have the carrier's ELD in my truck, and I'm not the administrator on the ELD. What this means is I can't control the flow of information. The ELD has, 5,000 different parameters it can pull off my truck, but the law only requires 8, I think it's 7 or 8 parameters by law that, you see what I'm saying? I'm not the administrator. I have no control over that.
So what do you think, Rick?
Yeah, I certainly empathize with what your situation is, and it is troublesome. However, as far as the FMCSA is concerned, they are responsible for the compliance of their independent contractors. In fact, the definition of employee in 390.5 specifically includes independent contractors. So they do have to make sure that you're compliant. They cannot force you to purchase a system from them, but they can certainly ensure that the information that is coming off it, that it's audible by them. But there should be information in your contractor agreement on what information you're sharing with them, in addition to the hours of service limits.
Well, so what you're saying is I'm supposed to be an independent contractor, but I'm not in control of my business. Nor am I able to be the administrator on my drug clearinghouse. So there's several things here that trouble me. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Jojo, thank you for that phone call, and to the point of that as well, about being an independent contractor and an administrator on the clearinghouse. That sounds like we could do a story on that. What do you think, Rick?
You certainly can do a story on that. So if the independent contractor is running underneath a carrier's USDOT number, the independent contractor would be in the carrier's drug and alcohol testing pool, and the carrier would be responsible for all the reporting and administration of what goes into the clearinghouse. If the driver is running on their own USDOT number, then they have to set up an account with the clearinghouse, and then appoint a third-party administrator to actually do the work. And of course, a single driver, independent driver does need to be involved in a consortium pool. They can't be in a pool of one.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Jojo. Let's go next up to Tim in the state of Texas. Hello, Tim. Welcome, sir. Question or comment for Rick Malcolm?
Quick question. Oil field exemption. According to the book, it says servicing oil wells, but I haul crude oil, and we're running under oil field exemption.
It's illegal.
Well, so there's, Tim, there's two oil field exemptions. They're both found in 395.1D, so 1 and 2. So the first one is a driver that's dedicated to the oil or gas fields, and that driver is allowed a 24-hour restart instead of a 34-hour restart. So the restart is, of course, only good when they're dedicated to the oil and gas fields. And then in the second one is for carrier or drivers that are operating equipment that was especially designed to operate in the oil and gas fields, and they required extensive training to operate. And with that exception, allows the driver to have wait time be as off duty. It's required to be logged in a specific way and called out. Which exception are you using?
Well, all we do is haul crude oil. Load from a tank battery, take it to a download. But I would work for another major company, and most of these companies around here are running regular DOT rules. I just wonder.
Well, from what you're telling me, again, the exemption is for those that are dedicated to the oil and gas fields. If you're just hauling crude, that would be probably a question for a FMCSA administrator. but I don't know how that's supporting the oil and gas field.
Okay, very good. I got a break. Thank you, Tim, for that question. Gary in Iowa is going to be coming up. Rick Malco, J.J. Keller on the phone, guys. They are one of the nation's leading authorities when it comes to this information, so get on board. He's here to help you navigate the twists and turns of the regulations. Coming up on 50 Minutes After, and let me update the weather now. Sirius XM.
This is Road Dog Trucking News, Traffic and Weather on Sirius XM's Road Dog Trucking Radio.
Okay, guys, I'm going to check out the northwestern United States. There is an active weather pattern in store for the northwestern U.S. of warm fronts moving through today. That's ahead of a cold front that's going to move through tomorrow, and that's going to bring plenty of moisture flowing into the region, and that could lead to locally heavy rainfall, localized flooding in the lower elevations around western Washington, northwestern Oregon, and across the higher elevations of the Cascades and the northern Rockies. Snowfall should be measured not in inches but in feet. Lighter snow accumulations are possible in the northern high plains. You know where you've got to travel, so make sure you stay ahead of the weather before you travel to where you are going. Back in a few, stay tuned. I'm Mark Willis right here on Sirius XM 146.
If you're talking about it, we're talking about it. This is Road Dog Trucking News with Mark Willis.
Let's go.
Country.